like-minded vibrations whose goal is just to simply be love. And so then naturally, as our vibration raises, we begin, as our vibration raises, we begin to naturally do things that bring us into more harmony with divine source, like eating properly. That's something that I used to struggle with, right? McDonald's used to be calling, bro. But then you start to eat healthily. In fact, I mean, sure y'all can relate. As your vibration rises and your consciousness rises, you don't even want the same food. You can't even eat the same food, right? You start to look at your body, and someone, I learned this from a dear friend. They said every day your body's conscious. We know that our cells, our body is conscious. So the part of integration with the body is talking to your body every day and thanking it, because just like we as divine beings said yes to incarnating at this time, to being of service to each other, our body said, I will be of service to you. I will be that which houses your divine spark. And it knows that it is not eternal. See, our souls, our consciousness is eternal, but our body's not. And yet it still said yes to housing it. And when you think about it from that perspective, right, you begin, you itself, like you feel that? Do you see how that resonated? It's like, oh my gosh, you want to honor it. So that's for me, the body. And then when it comes to the mind, it's exactly what we're doing here. For me, it's finding the gratitude. I don't know about y'all, but on my journey through spirituality, I have found that as I have learned to overcome the ego, I won't use the term enemy, but my greatest challenge and challenger has been myself. And the programs and the self-script programs that were born from traumas where we made a decision that wasn't true, where we experienced pain or some type of trauma, and then we made a decision about ourselves that wasn't true based on untruths of the world, whatever they may be. And so in spirituality is going back and peeling those layers back, that healing back, and saying, where does that come from? Does that resonate? Does this belong to me? And when we do that, when we ask that question, where does this come from? Whatever thought you may have that is limiting or keeps you stuck or makes you think you are not the dopeness, I was going to use a different word, right? Where does that come from? And it says, is this mine or someone else's? Or is this mine? When I mean someone else's, I don't mean to not hold accountability, but I mean, is it passed down from somewhere in the Akash? Is it something that we learned from an ancestor, whoever? And oftentimes we learned that it was picked up. It was kind of inherited onto us. And so we could say, I return this to sender with consciousness and love. This is no longer my script. And so for me, how I integrate in the mind is that every day when I wake up, I say thank you to the Most High. I call on my brethren, whom I call the archangels, and I set my intention to progress as an instrument of the will of God. Now, I don't want to use the phrase that we at times fail at that, because we're always a divine reflection. But there are times where we do better jobs than others. But it's in those moments. And for me now, it's as I step into myself and I step into the realm of spiritual teaching and this space, it's continually seeing the divine reflection in other people and in society. In society, we know what it's like. That's why we all are here. That's why we have all joined this summit, because we have been summoned long ago from the inception of our soul, and we all said yes. But what does that yes look like? That yes is to be an ambassador of love in our unique expression, whatever our soul song is. And how do we find that soul song? Is through joy. And so lastly, that spirit, that's the integration of spirit for me, is to, with great intention, with technique, with prayer, with meditation, being compassion and making sure that compassion starts with self-love for me. That has been my challenge, if I'm being transparent, is having self-love, because that's where ascension starts, is self-love. And I have a great friend, one of my best friends, who always says, I'm just a divine reflection of you. And that's true. And so the truth, my friends, is that as everyone has said, you know, you are special. You know, to compare yourself to others, that's what steals your joy. Don't do that. Honor them for their dopeness. But then fall in love. Fall in love, like feel that. Fall in love with finding out how dope you are. And I'm gonna leave it with this. I want y'all to picture something real quick with me, right? They integrate this real quick. I want y'all to picture the most beautiful, breathtaking scenery in nature. Maybe you're looking at the stars and cosmos. Maybe you're watching the ocean. Maybe you're in nature. Maybe you're looking at a loved one or the face of a newborn child. Whatever it is, I want you to harness that image. Y'all got it? I want you to hold that in your heart. I want you to feel those feelings of just pure wonder and love, and how it inspires you to be all that you can be. I'm gonna let you into a secret as you hold that feeling in the depths of your soul. The same feeling you get when looking at whatever you're visualizing is the same way Source gazes at your soul each and every moment. That's integration. Knowing that we're dearly loved. And then we can, with that power, with that love, with that support, we can be co-creators and create the find out and ask the question, what else is possible? You are possible. We are possible. So that's integration for me. Sorry. That yeah.
That's awesome, Sam. Awesome.
Yes.
So
Mr. Poet.
Thank you for speaking so authentically from the soul.
Yeah, drop Samuel some love. Drop some hearts in the chat for Samuel.
Totally.
At like night.
Yes. So we have Scott. Are you going to bring on Scott Tanjila?
I think he is.
I'm here. I'm on camera.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Hello, Scott. Welcome.
How are you?
Hey, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Greetings from California, Bay Area. Now it's funny because it looked like I was on camera with brothers Omashar and Samuel, but now it looks like the camera's just on you. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. But,
It did look like that.
yeah. And I think you got it on speaker view, so you may want to spotlight whoever's speaking or pop it on speaker view. Anyway, hello everybody. And I guess the question is all about, and now Omashar is who I'm seeing. The magic of technology. Well, see, I will speak while you all look at Omashar. How's that sound?
Well, Scott, we have you on, let's see, I thought we pinned you, so I'm not really sure why it's not showing. You're showing up on screen with us.
Okay, great. That's great.
Listen, when you're too high vibrational, technology just does not align with you. It's okay.
If it doesn't work, I'll lip sync for you, Scott.
That sounds good.
he's pinned for me.
Now I see myself. So somebody did something right. Here we go. Hey,
Fixed
we're
it.
talking about integration. So first of all, I tuned in and loved what Omashar said, and beautiful brother Samuel. God bless you both, brothers. I resonate completely with what you both say, and thank you for your wisdom, and also thank you both for your vulnerability. What this morning when I was kind of meditating on what I wanted to share on this panel, what came up was recognizing integration on both the micro level and the macro level. I spent a lot of time with the twin Ray last weekend, and we had a private conversation. We were talking about how fascinating it is that there's about the same number of cells as there are stars in the sky. And the idea that the human being, that we are right in the middle, that our inner universe is just as complex as our outer universe. And that's really stuck with me. And so even on the integration question, I want to look at what integration looks like for us as individuals and what it looks like for us as a culture. As a culture, look at how beautiful this panel is. I mean, I see people of all ages, races. I always joke Tanjila's got like 17 just with her alone, right? But how beautiful to see an integration culturally in this Integrator Summit. So good job putting it together, Ray, Sahat, Tanjila. But obviously our planet, and especially our country, has a long way to go in terms of integrating all races, all cultures, and instead of seeing each other as separate or worse than, learning to really love and see all of each other as brothers and sisters. So we've got a lot of work to do there. And then on the micro level, each of us as human beings, there are two quotes that come to mind. One is the Buddha, who says, always take the middle road, meaning always find the balance. We live in a planet of polarity. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So in any aspect of life, there is a playing field with two ends. Take the middle road. That's integration, right? Not going too far in one direction, not going too far in the other, but integrating. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are sexual beings. We are both, finding that balance of our sexuality and our spirituality. We have an inner masculine and an inner feminine, not going too far in one and ignoring the other, and finding that balance of masculine and feminine, which is what I'll talk about this afternoon. And so for me, integration is always looking at what are the two poles, and then how can I find the middle ground? Not being radical left, not being radical conservative right, but really finding the middle ground where I can understand what both sides are trying to convey, what both sides are, without becoming fanatical. The most dangerous people I've ever encountered, and the sooner that I've observed publicly, are people that are too far to one extreme or the other. Those are fanatics. Those are people that become self-righteous. And so it's beautiful to be passionate about what we believe in, but always finding that middle ground, that middle road. So those are my opening thoughts about integration, and I'm honored to be here.
That was beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That middle ground. Ooh,
Yeah.
that balances everything. That's the key, is finding that balance in your life, because you know what balance looks like. It's not, we can all find something that has resonated or helped someone on their journey, but find what resonates with you. And you may find pieces to the puzzle from several different. So be open to that, because everybody, every culture on this planet has a piece to the puzzle.
Yes, that's right.
And-
We all ourselves in this one, we had Deepak Chopra on the show And he said two things kind of interesting along these lines. First off, he pointed out that if the average person lives to be 90 years old, we will share approximately 10,000 molecules with every other human being who has ever lived.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? I mean, literally, that's how interconnected we are. And then the other thing that's fascinating is about the oldest ancient spiritual texts that have survived are the Vedic scriptures written in Sanskrit about 7,000 years ago. And in the Vedic scriptures, God is called Brahman, and he is assigned 26 principles. You can go read the Vedic scriptures, you'll find the 26 principles of God or Brahman. Fast forward to today, our most sophisticated science is quantum physics. And of course, quantum physics has established that we all are living in a unified field of ever-changing molecules. And our scientists have assigned 26 principles to the unified field. And those 26 principles perfectly correlate with the 26 principles of God written 7,000 years ago. Point being, we're living at a time that our most ancient spiritual wisdom and our most modern science are saying the same thing. We are all part of this incredible, vast ocean of ever-changing molecules. There is no blank space. There's just this unified field. Actually, 99.9% of it is empty space. But the point being, we're all connected. We're all part of the same living, breathing, ever-evolving thing. And God, the quicker we can understand that, that's where we can integrate and really see, wow, there I am showing up as Ray and Sahat. Wow, there I am experiencing myself fully as Tanjila or Omashar or Brother Samuel. And really start seeing the world in that way.
Yes.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And you
It's
said something
amazing.
earlier that I really love about like us being spiritual beings having this human experience. And I think that's something we all need to remember is that we are having a human experience. And so when we have these heightened levels of emotions, it's okay. Or when technology isn't working right, it's okay, because at the end of the day, like the grand scheme of things, like we are just having this experience right now,
Yeah.
but we are eternal.
That's right. We are multidimensional beings existing simultaneously in far more places than our little pea brains can imagine. You know, and we're in animal bodies, you know, and yes, we're spiritual beings, but we're in animal bodies. And so part of that animal body experience is we get ravenous. We need food. Well, maybe Brother Samuel doesn't anymore, but most of it, I still need food. It's true. So we need food, we need water, we need love. We, you know, we have these cravings. We need certain things. And when we don't get those needs, our animal body has a reaction, you know? And it's important for us to really recognize and appreciate that. And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be having any uncomfortable feeling, because that is part of the human experience. It's part of being in these animal bodies. And so many people shame themselves or shame others for uncomfortable feelings. They say things like, don't throw those bad feelings at me or those negative emotions. There are no bad feelings. There's just uncomfortable ones, you know? And that's where we need to have empathy for each other. Empathy for, oh my God, the technology isn't working, right? Empathy for, oh my God, I'm really scared right now. Or he's really scared, or she's really frustrated, or he's really angry, you know? And having empathy, because compassionate understanding through empathy, that's real love. In the human experience, as in these animal bodies, in this human experience, real love is choosing to compassionately understand each other or ourselves, as opposed to judging each other.
I love that, Scott. And I think that is so important, what you just said, the empathy, the compassion, understanding, that is true love. I mean, that is being the divine. I mean, this is the new spirituality. You know, we are moving far beyond what we have been taught, you know, by, you know, what is religion, you know, giving our power away to something outside of ourselves. You know, the new spirituality for all of us in this new paradigm, it's, yes, we have that vertical connection to the divine always, and we have that horizontal connection to one another always. And it's that horizontal and vertical that is the true integration of who we are as divine beings. Because, you know, the time of being a spiritual and having to be a monk in a cave far away from everyone else, you know, of course you can still do that if that is your soul's calling and journey and purpose. But for all of us, you know, we can be enlightened beings living in the here and now, rubbing up against one another, you know, in the cafes, in the streets, like on Zoom, wherever it is, because this is it, right? This is unconditional love. This is, you know, divine understanding and compassion, when we can look at one another and move far beyond all of the differences and separations that we have been taught and programmed to identify with first and foremost. Because we are now understanding that those are just illusions and mythologies that have been taught to us. And, you know, we're now moving beyond that, stepping into our true divine beingness, even beyond human, you know, in the cosmic realms, in the galactic realms, our universal, multi-universal community. So it's just, you know, this horizontal, represented by that empathy and unconditional love that you're talking about, Scott, is really the jumping point for us into this whole new life that we're all creating together in this new earth. So I'm really excited about it.
You know, from an astrological standpoint, we're coming out of the 2000-year Piscean age into the Aquarian age. And in the before the Piscean age, the concept of God was that God was completely separate from human beings. Then in the Piscean age, we went through 2000 years of Jesus and Muhammad and many spiritual teachers being kind of the broker between God and humanity. You know, there was the church, there was the middle ground. And in the Aquarian age is when we recognize that we are God, we are all connected. We don't need to go through the church, we don't need to go through Jesus, we don't need to go through, we could have a relationship to a church or Jesus, that's beautiful, but we don't have to go through anybody else. We have a direct connection, and that we are, again, we are all together in this wonderful, wonderful way. And that's part of the awakening of humanity. And honestly, we, the people on this panel, we're here to help others remember what we've already learned. We've already learned that for ourselves, and how blessed we are to have each other, how blessed we are to be as part of an integrated summit right now, right? We get to go, yeah, this is the future. This is where we're going. And our job is to have empathy for the people that aren't there yet, and do our best to convey our understanding without proselytizing, without being self-righteous, without thinking we're better than, but to do it like Brother Sam said, through joy, right? To just show the joy of coming together in an integrated way. It feels a lot better than when we are in judgment or racism. It just feels better, right? It's yummier. It's closer to our hearts. It's what we all want.
Exactly. And that whole process of connection and integration that we are building together, like, you know, we heard from Omashar, we heard from Bryn, and, you know, just about everyone's individual practice, from Iso and Amaria earlier with the beautiful sound healing. You know, there's so many beautiful practices that we're all getting to share with one another now, to open ourselves up, to, you know, create a new reality for us that's truly our own, so we can make our own step forward with our own soul's calling. And I think that's really what we're doing together here too, is, you know, creating this community where we can really share openly and allow our own soul's purpose and soul's calling to come through. And as we, you know, as we step into this Aquarian age, releasing the old programs, it's not so easy to do. You know, most of us spend all day, every day immersed in a whole cacophony of programs. You know, it's like, when are we not in a program? So it's not easy. It's not an easy process for anyone. And that's why it's just so important and amazing when we can come together like this and share. And that doesn't mean like all of us will have the exact same practices that we do or share the exact same viewpoints on everything. And we're not supposed to, you know, I mean, that's what the world is. It's like, we are, you know, we are beautiful in our multiplicity. No, Source did not create us all to be the same. Like Samuel said, we're billions and trillions of fingerprints from Source. And that's the beauty of who we are. And that's what is really brings us together. It's not the different colors, the different genders, the different cultures. Like, those are all reasons for celebration, not separation. And we're now stepping into that celebration and saying, this is our celebration. Let's move together beyond the separation into celebration. And I think that's what's so beautiful. You know, when we're celebrating integration, that's what this is about, that celebration of who we are as unique individuals, having this shared co-creative experience together.
Absolutely. And with that integration, I think it's important to bring awareness to like the way that the energy flows. Like, if you do not integrate mind, body, and spirit, if all of these facets are not in alignment with each other, then what happens is it creates this imbalance in your energy field, right? So when the energy field is imbalanced, then, you know, your energy can't flow the way that it should. You're not able to manifest the way that you should. You experience friction, you experience tension, you experience potholes and bumps along the road that could be minimized with more balance. You see, everything in the universe is balance. When you look at nature, when you look at, you know, just the way that like a flower or a tree grows, it is in direct proportion and in perfect balance, right? The way that the seasons flow, they are in perfect balance, and it all serves a higher purpose. So when you like attribute yourself to that inner balance, you are then serving that same higher purpose.
Mhm.
Yes.